Yo, it's cool times. Gang gang to my cats, sup to all my ducks. We're gonna have a huge whale in the NFT space on today to share secrets and strategies of the NFT space. This guy, Sighduck, has 140 cool cats, and the floor price of a cool cat is 11 Ethereum right now. So you do the math. We're talking to like the LeBron James of the NFT space right now. He's sharing all the secrets. Also, make sure to watch the entire video because at the very end, he drops like 5 or 6 projects he's really bullish on right now that are super cheap. Tons of alpha your way. Make sure to like this video because fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Maybe even just drop a comment below and say pew pew to let me know you're really sniper gang. But let's jump to our interview with $1 million NFT trader. Okay, I'm with one of the legends in this space, in my opinion, Sighduck. He is the owner of the Demon Cat and also 140 cool cats. So I just have to ask you right off the bat, how does any one person have that much conviction in a project? Like I remember collecting like Burger King Pokemon toys back when like Pokemon the movie came out and I wanted to catch them all. But how does someone like you have so much conviction to collect 140 cool cats?
Really good question. I think, and by the way, thanks for having me on. I think it's a mix of things. And so I'll try to spitball them here and explain the thought process, right? So I think number one is I was really early. So I minted about 40 cool cats. I actually sold a bunch since from then till now, but that definitely helps, right? When your cost basis is really low. Because even 40 sounds like a lot, but if you got 40 at 0.02 ETH, that sounds really cheap, right? So it's kind of all relative. So that is number one. And then I think number two is as time goes on, you are looking, well, actually I am looking for signals around risk, right? It's always around risk. And I think the less risk there is, the more confident you can be around your conviction around a product, right? Which is really natural. In the beginning, there's a lot of risk, and so you don't have a lot of conviction, right? You want to sell it right away because you're scared. It could go to zero anytime. But for cool cats, you know, it's been, I don't know how many months now, 6+ months or so. And so after all that time, they've really proven themselves in many ways, right? Their ability to ship and deliver, their ability to communicate, their ability to stay true to their word, execution and quality is always there. They're very good people. So I think like those are all things that have really helped prove and de-risk it to some extent. Of course, all that time, the price of the cats themselves have grown steadily, even without much, much action as well, I'll call it, right? In terms of like releasing new projects or anything. It's really just been quite organic and steady growth from the community. And all of those things just keep building upon that conviction and confidence over time, which allowed me to pick them up over time too. So that's kind of how I played my cool cats position. Is I minted a bunch, but I also sold, again, I don't know how many exactly, but I would say I sold at least half of what I really originally minted in the beginning. Again, like many people, because I was scared. But I actually picked up a lot, I picked up a lot on the way at 1 ETH, at 4 ETH, and 5 ETH, and 7 ETH even. So, it hasn't just been like I got them all in the beginning and held on to them. No, actually, I've kind of like shifted positions and been a bit more dynamic with this particular project. Whereas with other ones, yes, maybe I will buy a bunch and just hold them forever and not sell any. Maybe some I'll buy them and sell them right away. But again, this one I actually I kind of sold and bought as the project matured, which is an interesting take, I would say, and not too common. Most people either just like buy a bunch and hold, or buy a bunch later. But yeah, those are the things that really helped me in my conviction and my strategy. It's just funny because now as we look back and snapshot in time right now, it's like, well, 140 is a lot, but you accumulate them over 6 months and 7 months, and it's not that bad.
And I'm currently repping my Cool Cats Christmas hoodie right now. I obviously came across you actually when you bought your Demon Cat. And guys, if you're not already following Sighduck on Twitter, great follow, fantastic threads, amazing insight into the NFT space. But what was it like that day when you decided to ape in on arguably the coolest cat of them all, the demon cat. How does someone arrive to the idea of, okay, I'm gonna make a huge purchase, a huge whale purchase by getting one of the one-of-ones in a certain collection, this one being cool cats?
That's again a really good question. I would say for me, I have always been drawn to really nice things. And so I for whatever reason, I always liked grails from projects, right? And people call grails like the rarest ones or the one-of-ones of every project. And so I actually, earlier that year, I grabbed the Skeleton King from Wicked Craniums, and that was like one of my first grail purchases. And ever since then, I really liked just grails. So that was one thing, is just I'm always looking out for grails. But it's really, you're right, it's really scary because at the time, 80 ETH was the highest sale of all time for cool cats. There's always a little bit of exhilaration or anxiousness, or you're nervous because it's a lot of money and you're scared, you don't know what's going to happen. But I think you play it out in your mind. At least this is what I do. I play it out in my mind and think, where will this be in 6 months? And again, what's my thesis? And if I look back, will this look cheap? Will this look like a steal? And that kind of mentality is relative, right? Like you can apply that mentality to something at 80 ETH, but you can also apply it to something at 1 ETH or 0.02 ETH. So I think that's a really good mentality to have, which is just thinking, try to think far in the future, like what needs to happen for me to look back and for me to think, wow, this was a steal back then. And it's insane to think about that as something at 80 ETH, but here we are, right? Like 80 ETH was a steal back then. I've done a few of those actually. They don't always pan out, so it's definitely obviously a really risky strategy, but when it does, it's great. Another thing that I think most people don't consider is they don't look past the price or potential for returns on the one-of-ones. And what I mean by that, for instance, is this picture has helped me become way more well-known, right? And that is a non-trivial amount of value, whether it's influence or audience or partnerships that open up or doors open up that as a result. So I think people don't really value or take into account influence or audience gaining or proliferation of your own self or your persona online when you purchase one of these grails, because people do look up to it, right? And I don't think that is worth zero. That's not worth a bunch, but it could be worth a bunch. So I think that's something that people don't consider either. And I definitely did when I thought about that, which is like, if I buy this, people will know me as this this character, and that's worth something.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I had a lot of people asking me early on in my YouTube days, like, are you gonna make like a logo? And it's like, no, I have a $40,000 logo. It's a cool cat, and it has this inherent familiarity to so many people in the space, and they're immediately drawn to it and they understand what it represents. And so I think that obviously lends a lot of credence to that theory. And you obviously have tremendous foresight, because like you said, I think the Demon Cat at 80 ETH is a steal now. So I want to actually move to another one of your expertises, I guess, which was a Twitter thread I saw of yours a couple weeks back about play to earn gaming. This thread was specifically in the context of Wizards and Dragons, but because you're somebody who has great foresight in the space, I just want to ask you in more of a broader context, how bullish are you on play to earn gaming? Is that going to be the biggest trend of 2022 in the NFT space?
I think play to earn is going to be one facet, right? Like one angle, and there will be many other angles. Like there may be other angles that are more social or more immersive or more like mini game centric, or or kind of more around fun and less about making money. But I think play to earn is interesting because it has certain characteristics about it. Like for instance, some of them are relatively hands-off, like Wizards and Dragons. You don't really have to be playing it 24/7. You can kind of log on, check it, decide if you want to take any action or not. Otherwise, just leave it alone, and it does stuff. So that's actually quite nice for a certain type of player. I think play to earn is good because it creates it kind of creates capital and it kind of flows that around, right? Whether it's with people who might need more money or are looking for some kind of income stream, right? I think play to earn can offer that, and we've seen that with something like Axie, where literally almost fueling an entire country in the Philippines, right? Where a lot of people are now making salaries and wages, and that's helping them like support their families and their lives. And I think that's the kind of the good side of play to earn. To tie back into Cool Cats, who is making a play to earn game. I think they're taking an interesting spin on it because they are, number one, they're family friendly. So I think like people of all ages can partake in it, which is interesting. I don't know what kind of games or what the mechanics will be around the game itself, but I imagine they'll be quite simplistic to start, which again is great for getting others involved or just learning technology and getting used to this space. Obviously, I think the creative is actually a big part. So oftentimes with these newer play to earn games like Wolf Game or Wizards and Dragons, the creative kind of takes a back seat, right? Because they spin these games up so fast, and they piggyback on each other's contracts and modify them slightly to kind of have some kind of derivative of their own. But the creative takes a back seat, and so that to me is a little more boring versus Cool Cats. Every single pet is going to be unique, look unique, have different characteristics and elements and moods and things like that. And I like complexity like that because it makes the game more interesting. And I like art that is more unique because, again, it just makes it more ownable and people feel more attached to them as well. So there's a lot of aspects to play to earn, but again, just to tie back to Cool Cats, I think they're doing something quite unique with it, and they're also going to be doing more with it. So that's I think also they're going to have the thing where other people can go on quests for you, which opens up a whole nother category of incentives for people who may be priced out, or again who are incentivized for different reasons, and because of blockchain and all that, it kind of allows this to even all happen seamlessly in the first place. So that's obviously one of the best parts about it too.
Definitely, and the Cool Cats game you're alluding to, and the rental ability to rent out your Cool Cats to people is one of the unique aspects of it. While I have it here in the corner, I'll actually bring up a picture you posted a couple of weeks ago of some of the Cool Cats that you own that, hey, may be able to be rented in the upcoming Cool Cats game, so you can live vicariously through Sighduck and some of these crazy Cool Cats we see here. But I just asked you to kind of get a crystal ball out and look into the future. But let's go in the past a little bit. I'm curious how you got into NFTs and how'd you get in this space?
And so I got into CryptoPunks quickly after my foundation buy, and I just really liked it because I liked that there was 10,000 of them. I liked that they all had different traits, and the community was one of the best in terms of just really knowledgeable. Lots of people who have been there for a long time, like years. They always gave lots of alpha in terms of sharing different projects that they stumbled upon or things that they found interesting. So I really liked that community right off the bat, and so I purchased a couple of CryptoPunks pretty early on as well, in February or March. Luckily I do pretty well in the real world and have a good income, and so was able to even afford that. I consider myself quite lucky. And then from there, it kind of just snowballed. Like I said, all the people dropped projects in that Discord all the time, and so I would click on those like many people and learn about them, read about them, decide and purchase if I found it interesting, and it just again snowballed from there. But CryptoPunks was my entry point.
Before I let you go, I want to make sure we highlight your Twitter account here, hi_Sighduck. Great follow, tons of great threads. There was another thread that I really enjoyed a few months back on Sandbox, which everyone should totally check out. But before I let you go, I just wanted to see if I could trap you for maybe some what they call alpha. Some maybe underrated communities or overlooked communities that aren't as obvious as Cool Cats that maybe you're invested into or just appreciate from afar. What are the NFTs for the people who might be balling on a budget that you're kind of into right now?
Sure. So a couple of themes. I wrote a thread recently actually, but I'm quite keen on AAA games or games that are gonna have much more polish as well as multi-year cycles, because we're just now kind of hitting the timeline where those are actually possible and will start to be coming into play, like Sandbox, but there are others like Ember Sword or like Frontier Game, which is partnering with Ubisoft. And so I think those are big, and those have, you know, items and things that you can get at various price points. I would say, I guess, newer projects that I'm personally in that I'm excited about, again, just speaking for myself, is just to rattle some off, is the Littles. I like them because they have some interesting things going on. Primarily, they're actually going to be integrating a few of the big name tokens out there. So they're actually going to be integrating Milk, which is a Coolcast token. They're going to be integrating Bananas, as well as Volt and R-Waste. So those are from Cyberkongs, Kaiju, as well as Subducks. So, and I think one other that's unknown right now. So they're going to be one of the first to really be like kind of utilizing and writing on other NFT plus DeFi tokenomics as part of their project. So that's interesting to me. They're also doing some interesting stuff around their project, around utility, around what you can actually do with the Littles. I don't know what the price one is right now, but I think it's around 0.5 or so ETH. Another one I like that is Thingdoms, which is relatively new. But similarly, again, as you can tell, my trend is usually like, do I like the art, plus are they doing something interesting in the space that's, you know, that's unique that I haven't heard of. And what they're doing is, again, still quite early and more information to be seen, but what they're doing is their project is separated out, and different things will be able to do different things. Which is weird to say, but they call their NFTs things. But for instance, some may generate a token, maybe some will allow you to get merch, maybe some will give you access to a certain community, maybe some will evolve, or I don't know, do something else. But the point is, there are different ones that will do different things, and I don't think that has been seen actually anywhere else. So that's pretty cool to me. And another one that I like, again, just me, is Coolman's Universe, which is a recent one too that just came out. Yeah. And that was, you know, designed and created by Coolman, who actually has a quite large following from the traditional world, which is one of the reasons why I backed this one, is because I think there's a lot of artists that already have massive communities for coming to NFTs now, and they have a lot going for them too. So that's more of a bet on him, and where he's been and what he's built up already, and whether or not it will succeed in the NFT world. And then finally, I'll get one more, is Super Golden Cloud Key. I don't know if anyone has heard of Frenzies, but there was recently I think Sotheby's auction for Frenzies #1, which is included the NFT as well as the sculpture. But Frenzies is another one, or Friends with Me, I think, is an artist that has been around for, I think, almost a decade. And so they have tons of installations all across the world, as well as gallery showings. And again, this is their foray into the NFT world. And the Golden Cloud Key will basically give you not just a mint pass for the upcoming 10K PFP project, but also any other future projects too. And there's only, I think, 1,000 of those available, or 1.1K. And those have been steadily rising, but I think those are pretty under the radar, I would say, right now. And I think, you know, Pharrell's a big part of that community, for instance, and as well as a lot of big community members. So I would shout out that one. Just a great community too, really nice positive group. And those should be really cool if you check out the website, and you can see what those will actually look like, and they look really cool. So those are just a couple of ones that I'm interested in.
Thank you so much again, Sighduck, for coming on the channel today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, DGens, thanks for watching. Make sure to drop a comment below, like this video because fuck Mark Zuckerberg, and remember to say gang, gang.